This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. This is a Java full stack demo session. Before I continue, can you hear me? Is it my screen is visible? Can someone confirm, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for confirmation. Cool. So this demo session you can make interactive, and you at any point of time, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. Now, this demo session, I'm not going to go to the code and I'm not going to do any coding. Just we'll set the expectations, what you are going to learn, like where we are going to focus more. And as a full stack developer, what are the things you have to learn, uh, we will discuss in this demo. Like when you decided your career path as a Java, go as a Java full stack developer, so then what are the things you should learn? The first thing is like our discussion will start with the the programming fundamentals. That programming fundamentals we are going to introduce by using the core Java. We will be starting with the core Java, and here I'm going to say it as a core Java. I'll say that here. This is a core Java. Any programming language, like be it a Python or Java or .NET, whatever you are going to learn that here, the core concepts has to be learned first. Then you have to learn the frameworks. In case of the Java, so there is a Java has got the multiple flavors: JSE, JWE, JME. We have got these are the three flavors we are having here. And in this, we are going to learn the JSE first. We are going to learn Java Standard Edition. So in our normal conventions, like we will say it as a core Java. So this is a place where you will be introduced to the writing the programming and the fundamentals of the programming. What is a compiler? What is a debugger? And how we are going to compile your program and how to run your Java simple applications. Like now, here we will be doing the your dev environment. Like now, so first we will do the dev environment setup. Dev environment setup you will be doing that here. That's a place where you are going to install the what are the required softwares. Like now, as a Java developer, we require a JDK and we are going to install the JRE. JDK we are going to install it here, and we need a one IDE, integrated development environment. And here we are going to use the integrated development environment. We are going to use the IntelliJ idea. We are going to use it here. Okay, IntelliJ idea. This is IDE. We are going to use it here. The equivalent may be Eclipse and some other equivalents are available. We are going to use the IntelliJ idea. We are going to use it here. And the next one is we are going to work with the, from day one, you will be working with the JIT. So Git, and you will be using the GitHub, github.com. So this is a place. What are the source code we are going to develop? You are going to maintain the version control by using the Git. We are going to use it here, and the code will be maintained in a GitHub. Okay, GitHub we are going to maintain here. These are the basic things as a Java developer. Like now, if you start with the core Java, these three things are mandatory. And one more thing is we are going to set as a one build tool that's called the Maven. Okay. From the day one, our projects, what are the projects you are going to create? You will be creating as per the industry standards. Like now, we would be creating the Maven project, and we will be maintaining our source code in the GitHub repositories, and we will be using the IDE called the IntelliJ IDE. We will be using here, and the JDK we will be taking the latest version. So the latest version as of today it's a 21. Like what are the new features are added in recently? All the features also we are going to learn. So whenever the new version is released in another 6 months, every 6 months one new version will be released by the released new version will be released from the Oracle. So whenever new version is released, if there is a major changes, as a Java developer, those changes we need to learn. So and if we are like most of the projects, they may not use the latest JDKs. Probably they will be using the JDK 11 or JDK 18. You will be using that. So whenever the version is changed, like now if you are starting the project, then obviously you are going to go with the new version. And in the new version, what are the features are added, you must aware of that. So these are the dev environment we need to set up. These are the softwares which we need to install on your machine. Once you have done that here, this is the place where you will be start with the core Java concepts. Like no, the basics we will be starting here. What is a like no class and what is an object and how do you write? What are the data types it is having? So then you'll be discussing the core concepts like no object-oriented programming, collections, basics like no if and else. Then we are going to take it as a loops. We are going to learn that here, etc. We are going to say that here. Then object-oriented programming, object-oriented programming. We are going to learn that here. So then you will be learning about the exception. Then we are going to learn about the collections. Okay. Then we'll be learning about the threads, files, okay, and then you will be learning about the annotations, reflection, okay. These are the some of the important concepts you will be learning in core Java. Once I'm done with the core Java, now you have a two options, guys. Like no, you have a two options here. Once I'm done with the core Java, hey, I don't want to go it in Java full stack side. I want to switch my career to the either testing side, or you want to go it into the mobile development. Then you have a two possible options here. Like no, one is like no. So once you're done with the core Java, you can go it as a test automation side or Android. So this is a one is a mobile application. That's nothing but the Android. Another one is you can go it as a the testing side, test automation. Like no, if you are using the Selenium and other frameworks, so these skills are definitely it is going to help you. These skills are you to learn Android or test automation, that Selenium. You must have the basic knowledge of the Java, and this knowledge is definitely it is going to help you to learn quickly these are the things. Suppose if you don't want to go in this direction and you want to go it as a Java full stack developer, then you have to learn the next concept is you have to learn about the databases. Okay, you are going to learn about the databases. Okay, if you take the database, so here we are going to take the learn the SQL. Okay, this is a SQL we are going to learn. And when you are using the SQL, you should know we should use the one of the databases, like relational databases. You are going to use it here. In our case, we will be taking the relational databases. We are going to use the relational. Okay, we are going to use the relational databases. We are going to use it here. Okay, here we are going to use the relational database. Let's we'll put it in this way. Okay, we'll write it here. Okay, here we have a plenty of relational databases are available in the market. Okay, if you take the databases are there are plenty of databases are available. The most popularly used the relational databases are MS SQL Server, then Postgres, MySQL, the Oracle, then IBM DB2. These are the most popular databases. In our case, we are going to use the Postgres SQL. We are going to use it here. The Postgres SQL is also is a the relational database. We would be using the Postgres SQL database. We would be using like in order to learn the SQL. So here you will be learning about the what is the DDL and DML, DQL, TCL, and DCL. Okay, data control language. You are going to learn about that. Then you will be learning about the views. Then you are going to learn about the joint, how you are going to write the joint. Yeah. So then inner queries like this, you will be discussing all the topics about the SQL. Now, once I learned about the SQL, so where I'm interacting with my databases. So by using the commands, you would be interacting with by using these SQL commands, you would be interacting with the databases. In order to do this here, we require two things here. One is a database server, another one is a database client. Here we require the database server and the database client, DB server, and another one is a DB client. Okay, DB client. In order to connect with the DB database, we require a DB client. So here we are going to use the DB viewer. You are going to use it here. DB viewer, we are going to use it here. And this database server, we will not install anything in our machine. Instead of that, we will be using the render.com. This is a cloud hosting service like Amazon. So here we are going to use the render.com. You will be using here this render.com, the cloud provider, where we will take the database as a service we will be taking here. And by using the dviewer, so now here you have a cloud. This is a cloud environment, you take it here. In this cloud environment, we are going to create an instance of the database. You are going to create it here. You would be creating the instance of the database you would be creating here. This is a database you would be creating in your place. This is a PostgreSQL database you are creating, and it's running in the cloud. It's running in the cloud. So this is a render.com. Render.com is a cloud service which we have taken, and your dviewer will be running in your local machine. Okay, this is a dviewer. If I'm taking here, this is nothing but the db client. It need not to be a dviewer. It can take the anything. You can take it here. We are assigning it as a db client. By using this db client, we are going to learn how to connect with the my cloud service running database, how to connect with that, and how we are going to interact. We will be learning about that, and all our SQL queries you will be practicing by using the DB client. That query you will be sending to the database server, and that database server will execute the query, and it's going to return the result. That result you are going to see it on the client. Now, once you get familiar with the SQL and the databases, and then what you can do here is, what are the applications you have developed by using the core Java, the standalone application, whatever you develop, you can interact with this database. Now, what you will do here is, you will write your Java program. You are going to write it here. This is my Java application. These are my Java application. I'm going to use it here. Once I use my Java application, in between I'm going to use the JDBC drivers. I'm going to use it here. By using these drivers, then we are going to connect with your cloud database. You are going to connect with that. Like now, this is what we are going to interact with your database. You would be interacting here. You are going to interact with this database. Now here, your Java application. This is a JDBC. Then you are connecting with the database you are going to connect. So from your Java application, in order to interact with your database, we must use this concept called the JDBC. We learn about the JDBC, how to use the JDBC, how to interact with the databases. You will be learning here. So now by end of this module, you will get to know that how to interact with the databases, and from your application, how do you connect with the cloud databases by using the JDBC, you will get to know that. So far, whatever applications you are developing, it is a standalone applications. It is not a where you can deploy your application in some cloud service and you will execute that here. It's a completely, it's running it as a desktop application. It is running here, or we can say it as a standalone application. Once you are done with that, then now our focus will switch to the UI. Okay. Before going to the UI, like now here we are going to learn the external files. Like now, so core Java, when I'm working on that, like you will be learning about the external files, like now how to talk to the ML files, how to talk to the XML files. I would be discussing here. Like now external files. External files, if I'm taking here, this is a place where you are going to learn about the how to how to read the JSON files, and what is a JSON, and how we are going to use the JSON in your application, how to read the JSON files. This is a one thing. Then you will do that here. ML files, what is the ML file and how we are going to use the ML file. Then you have got the something called the properties files, then CSV files and PDF, and then we have a Excel files. So these are the commonly file systems or file types we will be using in real-time applications. Real-time applications, you will be using that here. It's a very common. Like now you are interacting with the JSON data, or you are going to read the JSON data, or you are writing your entire data in the form of a JSON, or the configurations, whatever you are going to do, that you will be doing with the YAML. And then there is something called the property files. Configurations will be done in by using the property file, CSV file, how to export as a PDF, how to download as a Excel, reading the Excel and downloading the Excel. You will be learning that. And for this, we are going to use the lot of third party libraries. Okay, Java alone you cannot solve the all the universal problems. Whenever you are working with the JSON or ML, CSV, PDF, or Excel, you need to use the third-party libraries. This is a place where I will introduce how to use the third-party libraries in your Maven, how we are going to add the dependencies, how the Maven works. I'll give the explanation about the Maven lifecycle, how we are going to add the third-party libraries. I will be discussing that. Okay, somebody has a question. Go ahead, please, if you have a question. Does anyone has any question so far? Somebody microphone is on. I am guessing that you have a question. Please go ahead if you have a question. Okay. Now, uh, this along with these third-party libraries, and there is a one more library we would be using that as a Lombok. Okay, we learn about the Lombok like a lot of boilerplate code which will be generated by using the Lombok, and how to use this Lombok we'll just learn that about that. So these are the things, the core concepts in order to learn advanced concept. Any developer must have that here, regardless what programming language you are learning. So these are the things you must aware of that. What is the JSON files, ML files, property files, CSV files, how to create a PDFs, and how we are going to use the Excel. You, you as a developer, you must aware of that. Once you are done with that, then you will be focusing on the UI. We are going to focus on the UI. This is a place where you are going to learn the UI concepts like basics. We will start from the basics. HTML, then there is a CSS, JavaScript. Okay, the JavaScript framework library called the jQuery. jQuery we are having here. Then you will be learning about the JSON, how we are going to use the JSON, Ajax. What is Ajax? Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So this Ajax calls how we are going to make. These are the core concepts which we will be learning in UI. So by using these concepts, we can now build a static web pages, and by using the JavaScript, you can make it as an interactive web pages. You can make it here. How we are going to work with the third-party APIs, and how we are going to render the data. These concepts you will be learning in UI. We are going to learn that here. Once you learn the UI, now we learn the UI, you learn the core Java, we learn database. Now we want to make a application where you can deploy and you can make it as a dynamic application. You want to make it here. This is a place where we are going to learn about the concept called the server side programming. We are going to learn that here. Server side programming. So this server side programming we learn by using the servlets and the JSPs. Okay, even though these concepts are not extensively used in the industry, because there are a lot of other things has come up, and people are not using, but still to get familiar with the how server application works, and what is that deployment descriptors, and how these applications will be packaged. So those all these things to understand, you will be learning the servlets and the JSPs. Okay, servlets and JSPs, we will be learning that here, and we will build a application, and we are going to packaging it, and we will be deploying into the Tomcat servers, web servers we are going to deploy, and we'll see that whether that application is working or not, and if there are any issues we will be fixing that here. Now this is a place when you take the Java packaging, typically it will happen jar, var, and EAR. These are the common things: jar, var, and EAR. So when you are building the web applications, you are going to build it as a var, and this application we will take to the server, and you will be deploying that here. So you learn how to write, how to use this. The var file we'll be learning about that here. To learn server side programming, you must have the knowledge on the UI, and at the same time you must have the knowledge on the core Java and databases. These are the, whatever you previously learned, you all the things you are going to use together, and you will be building the one application. Once you are done with these concepts, the next more important concept is the springboard. So this is a place where you will be spending the more time, the basics. From the basics we'll try to understand what is the Spring Boot and what is the Spring Core and Spring IOC, how the IOC works, then Spring MVC and how we are going to write a RESTful web services, how to use the JDBC in the Spring. What are the things we learn in JDBC? How the simple these things has been simplified in now. How these things has been simplified in JDBC, Spring JDBC. You will be learning about that here. And Spring has got the lot of modules. Spring Boot has got the Spring Boot is a opinionated framework. Like in order to build a Spring applications, we would be using the Spring Boot. We are going to use it here. The core concepts like core, Spring Core. So this is a place where we are going to learn about the IOC dependency injection, how it works. So then dependency injection, how this works. This is the main things you will be learning about that here. Spring AOP, aspect oriented programming, Spring MVC we are going to learn about that, how it works, Spring JDBC, and Spring RESTful web services, how to build a RESTful web services. You will be learning about that. And then there is a concept called the Spring MEC. MEC already we discussed, JDBC, RESTful web services, Spring Data, how we are going to use the Spring Data. So the batch processing, okay, Spring Batch, we are going to say that here, Spring Batch, and then you would be learning about the Spring Security. Spring Security, so how we are going to do that by using the JWT. So how to use the JWT token exchange and how you will be building the applications, you will be learning. These are the things you are going to learn that here. Once you learn this here, and
Hey,
yeah, go ahead, please.
hey Lakshman, this is Sunil. Not to interrupt you, but so the Spring side of it, right? I know the Spring
Mhm.
is a famous, is widely used framework, but can you give a brief history or something, like before Spring, what was there and why there was a need for a Spring, and then obviously just Spring has evolved eventually. So, what was the history of the whole thing?
Yeah, sure. We are going to do that. Like no, so just I'm setting the expectations as a full stack developer. What are you going to learn that? Yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah. And
So
Spring is the only thing that is used, or there are other things also?
see, most like no, these days the de facto standard is Java application is a Spring Boot. Like no, there are JSF and all the other stuffs was there. I think it's ruled out. Most of the things has been kicked out of the market. So most widely used framework now is a Spring framework. And to build that Spring applications, earlier we used to do manually. You have to do that here. The Spring Boot will greatly it will help you to create a Spring based applications. Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So just I'm setting the expectations. I'm not going to any topic deep about the topic. Like no, I'm not touching the topics also. Just I'm setting that as a full stack developer. Whenever you start learning Java, what are the things and what are the flow you should go that. Yeah. So we started with the core Java. Then we did the all the first we are doing the dev environment ready. Then core Java, we are going to learn that here. Once you learn the core Java, we should also work with the external files, how to work with the external files. Then external libraries, how to work with that. This is what the main focus will be given on the core concepts. Then you are learning the SQL. Once you learn with the SQL, and then you are going to learn SQL, you should have the one database like up and running. The database is we are going to use the PostgreSQL. Why it's PostgreSQL? Why not MySQL or DB2 or some other thing? Because the render.com is offers the free service database service. It offers for 3 months, and they are offering the PostgreSQL. You are going with the PostgreSQL. Once you learn the SQL, you can go and comfortably work with the any databases. So to get the experience of the how to use the cloud databases and how to work with the cloud services, to get experience, then we are going to use the render.com. This is a DB service. We are going to take it 3 months free service. You will be taking that, and you will be interacting with the database, cloud hosted database. You will be interacting with by using the DB client. We are going to use the DBViewer. DBViewer is a universal database client where you can connect with these databases. Once you are done with that here, hey, I learned the core Java, I learned SQL. Then how do I build a standalone applications where I can persist my data into the database. For that, we will take a one application. We learn the JDBC, then we will build a one application from your Java application. By using the JDBC, you will be interacting with the databases. So far, whatever we have done that here, whatever the applications you are going to build, these applications are standalone applications. It can run only in one machine. It cannot run it in a server where like multiple people cannot interacting to the your application. In order to make a distributed applications where we need to know about the server side programming, before going to the server side programming, you should have the basic knowledge of the how to create a what is a web page, and what are the elements it contains web page, and how to build the web pages. Whenever you click on mouse something, you click on that, some event has to be triggered, and it has to hit the database, and it should get the data. It has to hit the API, it has to get the data, and the data needs to be displayed on your UI. Those are the elements you will be learning in a UI module. Once you are done with that, then to build a dynamic web application, we are going to learn about the servlets and JSPs. Once you learn servlets and JSPs, and the servlets and JSPs, and there are old concepts. If you take that, there's something called the EJBs, then JSF. There are lot of other concepts are available. Okay, so the JSP place, you can use the JSF, you can use it here. Okay, servlets, whether you use the JSF, or you would be using the servlets only, we are going to use it here. We are not going to spend more time on this area, because almost I'm saying that here everybody is going with the microservices architecture, and everything is the APIs. So to build the APIs, what are the they will be using the Spring framework, and where we are going to use the Spring REST controllers, we are going to use it here. That is a part of the MEC library. So we will be using that here. So to build a enterprise grade application where we need to monitor your health of your application, and some of the things, as a framework, it has to provide, like you need not to do the very low level coding, and the basic configurations, and the basic infrastructure has to be provided. Infrastructure will be provided by the Spring framework, so that you can focus more on the your business logic than the uh, doing the rudimentary things or basic things repeatedly, you doing that. And the main famous for the Spring Boot is Spring framework is IOC and dependency injection. So what is this IOC? Inversion of control and dependency injection. So like in order to make your application loosely coupled applications, you would be using the IOC and dependency injection concept. You would be using that. So initially Spring is started with the IOC and DI. Now it is much more than that. So it has got a lot of features. You name any module, they have a module for the integration. You name anything. So suppose if I'm saying that here I want to integrate with the OAuth. They have a separate module. So they want to integrate with the schedulers. They have a separate module. Like no, everything the Spring has got the modules. By using those modules, you would be integrating with the other modules. You are going to integrate with that. And moreover, the when you are building these Spring applications, the packagings also will become the very easy, because most of the things, the moment you create a Spring project, what are the dependencies are they required, everything it is going to add for you. So just you need to focus on the your business logic. And the Spring, we will get start with the core concept: AOP, MEC, JDBC, RESTful web services, data, Spring data, Spring batch, and Spring security. There are a lot of other modules, and these are the modules you must have the knowledge on that. And you must have the hands-on experience with these concepts. Once you have done that, here we will build a couple of applications we will build in the classroom itself. And these applications, whatever you are building, and these applications, what we do, we will Dockerize that. We are going to use the Docker. So we will Dockerize that, and you will be deploying this Docker applications into the, again, render.com. We are going to deploy that here. Okay, render.com, we will be deploying the applications, whatever you build, you will be deploying into the render.com. So like the application can be accessed from anywhere, you can access that. That's the one thing. Like if you take the render.com, I don't think so any of my applications are running. Let me see that here, any luck. Okay, just we are going to log in. GitHub, I'm going to log in. From my GitHub, I'm going to log in here. Where you can see here, like no, these are my applications. Uh, there are so many applications I deployed. These are all applications we develop in the classroom, and we are going to deploy into the cloud. We are going to deploy that here. Okay, so 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 5 months ago, 8 months ago, it is there. Like yeah, last 2 months we did not have any batches. That's the reason it is the last one was 2 months and 3 months. So these applications, how to deploy and how to take the database as a service. So I'll be explaining that here. And at the same time, what are the applications you have built and how we are going to Dockerize and how you will be deploying into the render.com. I'll be explaining that here. Suppose if you have this is the application you are having here. Let's take it as there is a static page and uh, like you have a static pages. This is one. The country name, if we type that here, or if you select the region, it is going to give the all the country names and the top 5 populated countries. Like this is a country information which we are going to get it from the API. How to write that API? That API is available. That is a API. There is a country info server app. This is a place where you are where we have a the the APIs are available here. Server is healthy, it is saying that here. So this service is a free service, so that if you don't interact for 30 minutes, those servers will enter into the sleep mode. Okay, so then first request it may not work. Maybe it may to again to up and running that it may take a couple of seconds. You may take it here. Uh, if I look at the logs, no more logs. It is saying that here, like no, here it is not. We don't have any logs. It is saying that here. Okay, cool. Still, I think that application is still in a sleep. Server is unhealthy. Server is healthy. Like no, how what is it changed from 1 minute? We don't know. Yeah, yeah. Now you see here, my server is starting now because it went to sleep mode and now again it server came back. So now what are the okay? Now here, if you look at here, if I'm going and refreshing that here, earlier it was not showing any countries or anything. Now I'm going to refresh. Let me get this here. Yeah, this is up now. That's fine. Now I'm going to say it here. Now here I'm going to select it here, Europe. Okay, where I can monitor that whether my APIs are failing or what is happening here. I can see that here. If I look at here, my network tab, there is a info pending, pending, pending. So this all these things are pending. That means my server is not responding. Okay, this UI application, it's top 5 countries. What it is calling here, country info. It is calling here. Okay, let me take this API. Okay, I'm going to paste it here. Country info. Still, it's pending. This server is up. Said that server is up, but still it is not calling back. Country server on render.com. Okay, sorry. So it is running the here. If you look at here, currency server app on render.com. But what is the API I'm calling here is okay. This is a different application it is calling here. That's the reason it was not calling. Okay, I started the different application. I started country info UI. Okay, here if you take this here, these APIs are slightly different. So I can see here, let me put it here. Did I add the swagger UI.html? Let me check this here. No, it is not there. Okay, okay. What I could do here is so cool. Country server. If I'm on to go through the my source code, I can see here country server. This is a place where I have got the source code so that I can see what are the APIs I have written. Controller, if I look at here, controller, if I'm taking here, API slash currency, and here we are going to call the all. Okay, cool. This is a API. I'm going to make a call. Okay, this is what currency server. I'm going to make it as a this is a call I'm going to make API slash currency currency. This is a currency application. This is a country info. This is a failed 3 months ago. This is what it is failed. It's saying that here. Yeah, this is a server we supposed to make it work. I'm sorry. I was using the currency and this is what the server is exited running check service logs. This server is failed. What is the reason for this to fail? Not sure. My application is not running. By the way, it is saying that here my application failed. It could be my database might have expired. Yep.
That should be okay. I think maybe when we are doing the other classes, we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
yeah.
that, right?
I'll go ahead. I'll
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing is that, like, no, what I want to tell here is, whatever applications you are going to develop, you will be getting the practical hands-on experience. Like, you will be deploying these applications, and you are going to see that here. Now, my application is failed, so we should know how to when application is failed, what is the reason, and how to look at the logs and how we are going to fix that. So it's like, no, we are using the free tier database we are using, and the database might have expired and they are not allowing to connect. So here clearly it's saying that here data invocation exception you are getting here. So this is the way. These are the things you will get the exposure, and at the same time I will make you to do that here, creating the account and creating the Docker files and deploying and how to monitor your applications. These are the things you will be learning that. And apart from that, like you will be introduced to the like unit testing, unit 5, how to use the how to write the test cases for your application whatever you build. And then we are going to use the Sonar Cube. These are things to check the code quality, like whether you have written the best code, and like what is the my whether am I followed the industry standards. So and your code quality checks will be done by using the Sonar Cube. And then we'll be using the we'll get about the Jenkins, how to use the Jenkins, and when you're doing the CI/CD jobs, you will be running through the Jenkins. You will be running that here. What is the Jenkins and how to use the Jenkins? So when you are started work environment, whatever your code you are going to push the GitHub, immediately it is going to be built by the Jenkins. It is going to build. Okay, CI/CD jobs will be run by the Jenkins. How to configure that? How to run your CI/CD jobs by using the Jenkins? You will be learning about that here. So these are the things as a full stack developer you must have knowledge. And on top of that here, and whenever you get the requirement, how to take that requirement and how to you are translating the requirements into the design, like where you are going to write the class diagrams and the sequence diagrams, how the flow will go. So I'll be explaining whenever I'm explaining about the projects. So each module you will be developing the a sample of modules your sample projects you are going to develop, and those sample projects when I'm developing I will be explaining about class diagrams and sequence diagrams, how your classes are like your there will be a different layers, service layer, DAO layers, and controllers, how they are interacting. So we would be I would be explaining about that. And end of the day, what are the source code we are developing or what are the source code we are creating, everything will be pushed to the GitHub repository. Suppose if you are taking the current batch whatever it is running, so today morning we had a class 50 minutes ago, we have done that here. What are the things it is done? You can see here in the development branch, everything the code will have it here. End of the day we will be merging that. Now the currently it is going exceptions. So the examples you can see here, what are the things we learned so far. Okay, everything will be like day one, what are the things you are learning here. Day one maybe simple examples, like day 10 if I'm taking here, so the string class. And day 11 if you are taking here, what is the string builder, how we are going to use it here. Everyday classroom examples will be pushed to the GitHub repository, where you can clone this repository and you can keep it as a for your reference. And suppose if you are taking here more the object oriented, or when you are building the application, quiz application you are building here, like now what is the quiz application when you are building, like what is a quiz, how we are going to take the quiz surveys, and how we are going to write the utility classes, then how we are going to like driver manager class, how we are going to start your quiz, like this is a quiz, simple quiz application where you are going to load uh, like questions from the hard coded questions you are going to load from that, like you have a gk questions and java questions, and we have a questions like list of questions. Suppose if I'm taking all the questions, I want to conduct a simple quiz, I want to conduct here, how we are going to conduct the quiz, just we are going to take it here. And this is an example, the classroom examples, like if I'm taking the quiz application, this is a place where I have a quiz application I am having. And here quiz manager, if I'm going here, hopefully this will run. So now here, please wait for your quiz to start. Now it is asking here, hey, which of the following is not a valid loop in this? I'm going to say it as a 4, and I'm going to say it as a, something I'm going to enter. I'm not worried about the result. So just I'm going to enter, this is a 2, this is a 1, and a 1, 2, okay, 2. Please wait, your result is computing. So total there are 10 questions. I got the 4 answers correct and 6 are wrong. So, what are the object-oriented concepts you learn? You need to implement the one small projects. When you implement, then only you will remember that here. Like, no, these are the concepts. We'll introduce the concept at the same time. We'll give the one project to you, and we will not create a this service and everything. We'll ask you to create, and the next day I will be explaining here, like how you are going to create your own service and how do you make this application work. And there is if there is any code refactoring, how to do that. One of you people will be presenting that, and what are the things we can refactor, I will be explaining that here. Not only that, so any thing you take it here. Okay, control n, I'm going control shift n, control n, control shift n, command. Okay, here we are going to, suppose if I'm taking the date 7, like now here we are developing, you learn about the all the loops. Then where I'm going to use the practical uses of the my loop. We'll develop a one small game, like dice game if we taking here. Hey, guess a number. When I'm guessing the number, dice game. So maybe I'm guessing the 2. Wrong guess, try again. And it's saying that I'm guessing the 3. You won the game and you guessed in a second attempt. So how we are going to use the loops, and like how can I develop a small funny games like this, how we are going to do that here. We'll be explaining that here, like learning the loops is one part, and where practically we are going to use it here, how to use the break statement, and why do you need to use the break statement. We'll get the practical experience, you'll get it here. And the most of the examples, this nothing is ready made, so everything is we are going to type it like in the classroom itself. That's another thing. And here I'm going to use the one more ai tool, I'll be using that. And another thing is, as a developers nowadays, every industry or like every organization, they are going with the ai tools, like you should adopt the ai tools as well. And the most popular one is now github copilot. There is something called the GitHub Copilot. Okay, GitHub Copilot is the one which is like it is a copilot for you as a developer. The moment you type some code, it is going to give the suggestions. Let me take a simple example here. Anyhow, I opened this IDE. So here I'm going to write a one method, private static boolean. Boolean. I'm going to say that is prime. Okay, int number I'm going to say that here. Now, or you are going to write a one prompt, you are writing here, uh, create a static method with to check the number is prime or not. Okay, here we are asking here, just I'm asking to generate the static method, I'm asking to generate here. Public, I'm going to write it here. It is generated. You see here, the code, not even one line I have written here. The GitHub Copilot is suggesting me that, hey, if you are writing this is what. This is the code that's going to generate it for you. So just we are asking here, hey, you generate a static method which is checks the whether given prime number or not. Like no, GitHub copilots are going to suggest you that like no, it's going to give the suggestions. Which are the suggestions you want, you can take it that here. And the basic code, whatever you have written already in your repository, automatically it is going to pull that code. And you need not to worry about the writing the basic things. Like one more drawback with that, sometimes it will give the code which is unwanted code also. It will add to your source code. You should be in a position to which is the right answer. And like picking the right answer also very important. Right solution also very important. So like to use these AI tools, if you have a little experience, if you have a hands-on, your productivity will increase. That's where organizations are asking, hey, start using the AI tools. Like every organization is insisting to use the AI tools. And like you guys also start from day one. How to what are the is happening in AI side. You can experiment, sorry, you can explore, and you can start using that. At least they will give 1 month free. Later they are asking you to uh, pay the amount. Like now, if you are joining the organization, they will pay for you. And if you are individuals, like now, within 1 month, you can learn about the what is a GitHub Copilot, how to use the effectively GitHub Copilot. You can learn about that. This is the one of the AI tool we are going to use it here. And anyway, we are going to use the ChatGPT. Okay.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
ChatGPT anyhow we are going to use it here. So that ChatGPT version 3 or 4, that doesn't matter. So version 3 is a free, version 4 is a we need to pay for that. Right? So we'll see that here how ChatGPTs can be used in our application. So far I haven't done that here. Currently in our my current organization we are doing how we can integrate our APIs with the ChatGPT. If by the time by end of this course, if I learn, definitely I will be explaining that about the how to work with the chat gpt. I will be explaining that.
Sure.
So
Hey, Lakshman, this is Sunil. Just a couple of questions I need to drop, so but I'm just gonna ask. Is it okay?
yeah, you can go ahead. Anyhow, more or less I'm done with whatever the
Okay.
things I'm
Yeah.
going to cover. I explain that here. I'll take your questions. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think the coursework is very good. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that one. So so AI perspective, you're basically saying how to use AI tools to better
Mm.
do a better programming, right? That's what you're trying to make sure, right?
Yeah, you're correct. You're
Okay,
spot on.
okay, okay. And the integration of API with ChatGPT is basically we want to see if we can develop an API which can directly invoke a ChatGPT and get the details, and we can use that as a response for whatever we are doing, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
See,
yeah, yeah,
ChatGPT has the capabilities to talk to the what are the sources are available, like wiki, and it can talk to the Stack Overflow. So then finally, it
yes,
is going to pull the data from the various sources. Like when you are developing your application, it should not go on to get the data from the external application. It has to get from the your own repositories. Like you would be using the ChatGPT with our own APIs integration. So
okay,
that's
yeah,
what we
yeah,
are experimenting now. So in our applications, like where we want to so ask the some questions where it should give me the how to create a particular service in a specific to my application. Then ChatGPT should not go and talk to the Google or other sources. It should talk to the my own repositories. So that's what we will see that here, how to do that here. Even I am not
okay.
expert in that area. I'm also learning that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. I think at least we can understand the concept and what is happening behind the scene.
exactly.
That will be helpful.
Yes,
One more
yes.
question, last question. So the
Mhm.
APIs and everything which we'll be developing, is it possible if we can use any proxies or something and use proxy instead of directly invoking those APIs? Do you think we can do that one in our session?
See what like no APIs, when you are doing the proxy APIs, like no we have got the lot of sites are available. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the Bceptor is one of the website where like no what are the data you want, you can create a proxy of services you can create.
Mm-hmm.
They will give you they will serve you the whenever you call that API, what are the data seed data you are providing, that is going to serve it as a response.
Okay.
Another one is the JSON placeholder, you have that. like no, those things I will be introducing you how to use that. Like no, by the time you don't know how to build APIs, but still we want to use the APIs in JavaScript. Like
Hmm.
that's a place where we would be using the proxy APIs. We would be using that.
Yeah, that will be helpful if you can tell us, because I think most of the organizations are using some kind of proxies. Obviously, they're not invoking directly the APIs. They're
Correct.
doing going through some of the proxies. So if you can explain, that will be helpful for us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See that those things will be really helpful for you in your development phase, not in like no production environment. Correct? Production environment, you should have your own APIs. Yeah,
That's right. At least again, interview perspective, right? If they're asking, we should not be blank. We should at
yeah.
least know what is the concept and what is happening. Each
Correct.
company could be using different. They could be using APGX, or they could be using APIM or some other tool or something, right? They could be. At least we
Correct.
can be able to defend it and say, okay, yeah, we know what it and what means. Yeah.
Sure, that will be there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Lakshman. I'll definitely connect with Sunita Garu and Vijay Garu, and I'll reach out to you. Okay.
sure. Thank you
Looking
so much.
forward for the sessions. Okay. Thank you, Lakshman.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. So others, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like if you don't have any questions, more or less I'm done. So yeah, this demo link will be shared and the recordings also will be shared with you guys. If you have any questions further, you can discuss with the who is coordinating with you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something from me this 1 hour. Thank you guys.